Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. Interesting day again. I'm finding each day interesting as it presents something a little bit different, but also lets me take a little bit deeper look at how things are getting traded here and what possibly others are thinking. So no changes to make here on the daily chart, and that would be for both, but I'll take a zip over in a minute to take a look at the S&P. So again, here in the NASDAQ, we continue to be in the process of tracing out a primary A wave. Within that primary A wave, we have an intermediate wave A. We're in the process of putting in an intermediate wave B. Then we will do an intermediate wave C advance, and that'll complete the primary B wave counter trend rally or counter trend correction. And then from that level, wherever it will be, and I didn't mean to leave my cursor there to give that as the hint. I have not worked out the fibs on that one, but we get a C wave up to complete the primary B, and then we get a crushing primary C wave. Now the timing on all of that, yes, hasn't changed. It depends on how fast, how quickly this can start to unfold. So we're in that process. We're in the process of the intermediate degree B wave down. And the fibs that we have in place right now would be for that entire intermediate B wave down. But we're still looking at and trying to figure out what the initial process or the initial path that is being taken. Yesterday, I presented this as if this is A and B, and this is working its way down in the C wave, which, by the way, would have completed there. But then we got this, which is almost not quite anything. So possibly another small four, and then we get another fifth wave down, and it turns into 5 waves versus ABC. So that's why I presented this tonight. This is the other alternate. We're still waiting to see what the market is doing. So these are the possibilities, and one way or the other, we'll get our answer, and then we'll know what's next. So in any case, on this intermediate B wave down, it will consist of a minor wave A, a minor B, and a minor C. So A wave down, B wave up, C wave down. So we're continuing to follow this process all the way through each one of these corrective spots. And the whole thing is a part of a correction, which is a part of a little bit larger correction, which is part of an even larger correction. So we're in a corrective mode. And if you're following Elliott or you're studying Elliott, it is impulse waves that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And corrective waves come in threes. So they're labeled ABC. Now, the A wave can be a 5-wave structure or a 3-wave structure. So I go through all of that as we move along. But safe to say that each of the patterns will break down in and of themselves. So just because I'm on an intermediate degree, that's on a breakdown from a primary degree. Now, in the primary degree, if it's primary degree wave B will consist of an ABC on an intermediate degree. And when I go through to the next level, to the minor degree, well, what's going to be in here? It's either going to be a zigzag, but it's going to be a minor ABC. So that A, which is what we're in, can take, again, 2 forms, right? It can be a 5-wave or it can be a 3-wave. 3-wave would have placed the A here. This response off of that is pretty non-existent, really. Just kind of there. So going over to where wave A would be 5 waves down fits much cleaner. So that would suggest that from here, we get another little 4, possibly we come back up, give a test to 13,035, maybe up to 13,100, and it'd be nothing more than just a bounce. And then we come down again. In other words, we still have the wave 4, the minute wave 4, and then the minute wave 5, and that would then form the minor wave A. and suggest that the intermediate wave B is going to be a zigzag because A turns into a 5 wave. So zig-zag. So it would be a 5-3-5. So that helps us take a look at a little bit next step out, that if we're going to get a 3, shouldn't be too severe. But then we'll get another 5 waves down. And that's likely going to bring us right into all of this. Because then we'll start comparing A to C. Once we get a completion point for wave A and wave B, we can project wave C. So lots to do, lots to go on. But for tomorrow, I would think if we bounce again, it's likely to be overnight. But in that same vein, if we continue to move lower from here, and we're going to put a minute 4 here, on this particular sequence, it's continuing to show that the pullbacks are weak. They may be 100 points, but they're weak. On an hourly chart, they're weak. So doesn't look like much, and it isn't much. So again, as I said yesterday, corrections or bounces or pullbacks from this decline are coming in short and are likely to be held at the moving averages. So this tried to get up here, failed, and then turned and spent the rest of the day swimming around the lows. So that remains a potential target for the market should it return and we start to break. But again, if it's going to show weakness in terms of being able to get above the 50 to, first of all, draw additional buyers and then to start pointing towards higher levels. First of all, right now, you got to find the buyers and they got to move in and they got to start doing things. And whether that happens or not, I don't know. So we've got the resistance here and ultimately definitely resistance there. But I would not at this level be looking that we're going to get a 4 that go up that high. We can, but it would kind of be a surprise to me. Has to be something behind it. And quite frankly, I don't see that happening. Downside now, to put in that, if this turns into a 4 and we're coming down in that 5th, then 12,810 current low? No, I got that wrong. Current low is 12,823. Anything below fulfills the pattern. So if this is the 4 and this is a 1, 2, we get a 3, 4, 5. We can end up here. We can end up down in a little bit closer to this level. Ultimately, though, I think this would make it nice and clean. Keep it here. Keep it above 12,700 and put in wave A. And then I keep talking as we coming off here that eventually we're going to get a little bit bigger of a bounce. It's not a recovery bounce. It's not like a turn bounce. It's just a bounce. However they want to spin it, it's just still a bounce. And we play it because the price action will demand that we play the right side. If you don't, you're going to lose your account because you're going to get blown out. If they're deciding they're going to buy it, they're going to buy it. But thus far, it's not been real strong. So I'm not suspecting that that's going to change. I might get a little bit stronger to get up to here or here, but not too much further. And a 4, and then we get a 5, and then we get an ABC, which should find some additional strength. But then from here, maybe only get back to here. Again, we'll be using initially the moving averages wherever they end up to wherever the market is. Okay, so that takes care of the NASDAQ. The S&P pretty much looking the same. Got a little bit dicey right in here towards the close in terms of just reaching the daily low, making almost new lows. And then we had in the Globex, to make the Globex lows, that would kind of open Pandora's box in a little bit of a different way. And what I mean by that is here the same in the S&P as that we were looking at in the NASDAQ for the 3, the 4, and the 5. And you can see again, even here, these pullbacks, these bounces, they may start good, they may look good, and then they just fail. So the selling is still out there, and the reasons they're finding is fine. But you're seeing the plays really turning into people trying to figure out. It's like, well, if I listen to this person or this station or whatever, it says this and that. So it's just trying to choose a direction. Is it going to be up? Is it going to be down? That's what everybody's trying to do. And it's like, well, it could be both. Oh, that doesn't help them. So learning to trade the price action is going to make or break. So when I see this type of action in the price action, it continues to show weakness in the market. And again, we're on the hourly chart. The plays should start to kind of break down. If we put the 4 there, then I'm looking for the S&P to come down, go below 41.17. Remember, I continue to believe that 4,100 or just below, just above, will start to provide some support that people are going to be able to wrap themselves around in terms of like, okay, this is all right. We can transact business here. So I think there could be a value area there. Break brings it down to probably below 90, towards the 80 down to 75 level. And then we have fib support at 40.65-ish, 64. And then it breaks. Then we're going over, it's like, got to go back pretty far before we find even some good price support. And that's already down at 39.93. So we have a zone from 39.93, which is price, to Fibonacci, which is 39.83. And that'll be a support area. So, but before we actually get there, unless this just really extends, I would think that we kind of come in, put the 5 in, label the A, get that B wave in, and then let the C wave bring it down into these levels. So again, this is a more deep dive inside these moves that you're going to be doing on an inter-hour basis. So this is kind of setting up for what we could maybe see for tomorrow, our possibilities of where this market could go. Now you can adopt and you can use your own trading strategy because it's based on maybe the moving averages, or it's based on Fibonacci, or it's based on a market profile or an order flow market profile. So you're seeing where things are going and where value areas and where the supply and demand is coming in, et cetera, et cetera. But as long as you're building your strategy, then you have a strategy, and now you've got a roadmap, the possibilities of a roadmap for what the markets can do. And that is going to remain important. So for the S&P tomorrow, if we continue to move lower, then I'm looking like this was this minute 4, and we're in the minute 5, and we're going to come down likely into here. Without the benefit of rising back up and then coming down in 5, I'm going to take it that it's coming down in 5 now, and it might shorten the destination just a little bit. Maybe bring it in at 4,065-ish, around there. Again, we have the rest of the ticket on it. And that's where I'm going to leave it for today. And the next update will be on Wednesday, the 24th.